So what do? It's the question that we all get thrown into as soon as we go to a networking function. So what do? So in a way, we always need to psychologically be answering the question, how can we help you personally? This video here is dedicated to giving you a very structured approach to structure your thinking so that you convey a message that is more easily received by the person that you say it to, and where it actually resonates with the person. Because how often do we sometimes get caught in this blah, 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 and the likes, and it doesn't really, sounds fluent, or it's too much at the same time, too much waffle. The Getty pitch, what I will show you in this very video, will help you to effectively structure your thoughts so that it flows more easily of your tongue and it's more easily received from the person that you say it to. And again, it's seen as being relevant. Think about this. If you were, every time when you meet somebody, say or answer the question, what can you do for me, or what do you do, in a way that really is relevant, that people want to say, that's interesting, tell me more about that, or saying, hey, could you come into our office and show you how you could help us with this? This is obviously what we all are looking for. However, if you catch yourself that you haven't had this happen very often, and more so you've got this sort of awkward moment where you're somehow rattling and not knowing exactly what you're saying and trying to make it stick, but it doesn't, this video is exactly dedicated to you. So here's how it goes. The Getty pitch has got 3 steps. Step number 1 is you say, we know how, and you say something. Step number 2 is you then continue on saying, well, what I do or what we do as a firm is, and you fill in the blanks. Step number 3 then is, in fact, and you fill in the blanks. So you know how, what we do, in fact. These are the 3 steps. Let me give you a quick example and then also provide you the rationale behind those 3 steps. Here's how it goes. Let's just assume that you work in a large accounting firm, and it's got all sorts of advisory services. And here right now, you particularly have an expertise in working with tech-savvy companies, typically larger ones, and you advise them on both strategy as well as how to offset the investments they make in it through tax incentives. All right? So here's how your pitch could sound like. Well, you know how lately there's so many listed companies that have been seriously disrupted by newcomers in the field of technology. Well, what I do is I work with executives to help them adopt cutting-edge technologies and using very clever tax incentives to offset the investments in those, to ensure that they are the disruptors in the market rather than being disrupted themselves. In fact, I just got back from this stock-listed company that had been in the market for already 100 years. And as in the last 3 years, quite a few new players had come in and almost taken off some of the precious clients away that this company had been invested in for a long time. What we have done with them is to help them over a 2-year period in rolling out a new technology platform that allowed them to regain 30% lost market share, which is now showing testament to the company that it is actually regaining the trust and the strength of and the backing of their clients. But also they're now more in a position, because the cash reserves have gone up so much, that they are now in a position to buy out the most feared competitor that they've been dealing with. So this is the side of work that I do. Does that make sense? So you notice now that in this very quick spill, I started off by saying we know how, and I drew a quick picture of something that we all know is happening out there. Then I brought it back, saying what I do exactly in a very short sort of thing. And then at the end I said, in fact, and I brought it back to a case study with a client. I could even mention the name if I wanted to, and if that wouldn't harm any confidentiality rules. But you also then continue on saying, describing a situation of a client very similar to the person that you share it with, and then describe the type of results that you're getting that client over the period of your engagement. So here right now you've got a structure that allows you to structure your own thoughts so that you are in a position to clearly articulate yourself, and again leave people with a picture of another client like them that they could relate to. Notice what now works. In terms of the psychology, you are creating buy-in. You see the doors behind me. In a way, you're helping to open up the doors to the people's minds and to allow them to take on what you're saying. Sometimes you want to keep it more broad, as I now did. Sometimes you can really become very specific. The point is, wherever you go, whether you're going into a first meeting with a prospect or you're going to a networking function such as AmCham or a large corporate function, you can think about the type of pitch that you want to prepare before going in. So obviously the more you think about the people you're going to meet with, the things that live on their mind, what keeps them up at night, what worries them, what are the concerns they have and the things they may struggle with, the more easily you can use the Gaddy pitch again to put some content in the structure and allow that content to resonate with the person that you share it with. The idea is to be punchy and the idea is to also be relevant. Make sure that you ask the person what they do first so that they can give you a little bit of information, and that again helps you then to choose the type of pitch that you've prepared already well in advance. And then perhaps here and there mold it a little bit so that it sticks better, so that it's more relevant for the person that you say it to. The ultimate feedback to you that you're doing a great job with this is that you start seeing that more people will say, that's interesting, tell me more about that. Or they may also say, that's actually reminding me of something that right now we're faced with and I'd like to talk to you about it. When could you come and see us in the office? Either one of those two results would be a great outcome and showing again that your preparation, your due diligence in thinking about and putting yourselves in the shoe of the very people that you're about to meet is paying off. I recently had one of those happening as well when I just went to a luncheon, sat down next to a gentleman who happened to work for a very large organization that was experiencing some of the challenges that we can solve. And pretty much within that 10-minute chat while having lunch, the gentleman said, well, why don't you come over here? And right now these people have become one of our largest accounts ever. And with much more scope as well. So this is what you can do too. But it does require a little bit of thinking before you go to the meeting, putting some ideas down on paper, then practicing it either in front of a camera or in front of a mirror, and just refining it so that you feel more comfortable, that you are more articulate and clear in what you say, and then obviously, as you do, so will people receive it as well. I hope this helped for you, the Gaddy pitch. I wish you well, and I appreciate your comments as well below. Bye-bye.